You've probably heard your whole life that you need to stay out of the sun. Wear sunscreen, cover up, wear your sunglasses. The sun causes cancer. We all know the story. And for a long time, most of us just went along with it because that's what the doctor said, that's what the labels on sunscreen bottles said, and that's what we passed down to our kids without really questioning it. But here's what's worth paying attention to. While we've been hiding inside and treating the sun like it's out to get us, rates of cancer, autoimmune disease, Parkinson's, depression, and basically every chronic illness you can name have been going up. And one thing keeps showing up consistently across the research on sick patients, and that is that they are very, very low in vitamin D. So let's talk about what's going on. Vitamin D is not just some wellness trend your nutritionist is pushing. It's a basic human need. And more than that, it's a solar hormone. It's literally made from cholesterol when sunlight hits your skin. Your body has been running this process for as long as humans have existed. The sun isn't some external threat your body has to fight off. It's the source your body was designed to run on, and your body knows the difference between getting it the real way and taking a shortcut. That's the part a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people think they're covered because they take a vitamin D supplement. And if your levels are seriously low, your doctor might recommend that pill, and that's fine for what it is. But the pill and the sun are not the same thing. Here's why. When sunlight hits your skin, the photons of light get captured and go through a transition from acting like a light wave to acting like a particle. The wave-to-particle process is what converts cholesterol into vitamin D. When you swallow a supplement, that photon-to-particle process never happens at all. There's no solar energy involved. Pills made in a blue-lit factory have never seen sunlight. They're chemical signals, and your body treats them accordingly. So, if you have any real opportunity to get actual sun exposure, that should always be the priority. Your body also stores vitamin D in your fat cells, which is one of the most important things to understand about how this whole system works. If you spend the summer consistently building up your levels, you are literally banking immunity for fall and winter. The people who sail through flu season while everyone around them is sick are usually the ones who did the work in the warmer months. You make vitamin D when strong UVB light is available, and you store it in your fat. Then you spend it slowly as the months get colder. That's the system, and it only works if you actually put in the time outside. The sun also helps you burn fat. Yes, you heard that right. Beta oxidation, which is the term for fat burning, cannot happen without the wavelengths you get from sunlight. So, if you've been working out consistently but staying indoors and wondering why the weight isn't shifting the way you'd expected, there's a real physiological reason for that. Your metabolism needs UV light to run properly. You can eat well and exercise regularly and still be missing a foundational piece if you're doing all the right things inside. Now, let's get into the cancer thing, because that's the argument that keeps people indoors and covered in sunscreen. The case against the sun is always centered on skin cancer, but what the research actually shows is that mortality from all diseases, including skin cancer, goes down with more sun exposure, not at all-cause mortality increases when people avoid the sun. And while melanoma rates have been climbing steadily, that climb has happened during the same period when people have been spending more time indoors, wearing more sunscreen, and working under fluorescent lights more than any point in human history. If sun exposure were the main driver of melanoma, you would expect the opposite pattern. So why are we learning this now? Part of the problem is how a lot of foundational research was done. Studies that pointed the finger at UV light often work by isolating specific wavelengths and exposing nocturnal animals or cell cultures to them at intensities that have no equivalent in nature. Blasting nocturnal albino mice with UV is not really an accurate look at the human experience. In fact, the sun we receive is never one wavelength. It's full spectrum. That's how sunlight actually works. You never get UV light without red light, infrared, and the rest of the full spectrum alongside it. When you isolate a single wavelength and blast it at something without any balancing wavelengths present, of course you get damage. But that's not what a day outside looks like. It doesn't even come close. Full spectrum sunlight is the environment your body evolved in. The wavelengths balance and support each other. A tan, which is real melanin that your skin builds up through gradual exposure, is your body's natural protective response to increasing UV. It's not damage, but adaptation. It's your skin doing exactly what it was designed to do. And beyond the protection piece, a tan is also one of the better things you can do for your mitochondria and your cellular energy. The melanin in your skin acts like a semiconductor that helps your cells attract and use light more efficiently. The whole framing around tanning as dangerous or purely cosmetic has it completely backwards. Let's take a moment to think about what happens to your mental health when your body isn't getting enough or hasn't stored enough vitamin D. We get sad, as in seasonal affective disorder. Seasonal affective disorder is definitely winter's way of reminding people that the sun is not just for beach selfies. When daylight disappears at 5 p.m., Vitamin D levels drop, moods definitely crash, and suddenly everyone is questioning their life choices while eating snacks under 3 blankets and bathed in blue light. A lack of vitamin D absolutely contributes to fatigue, low energy, and the overwhelming desire to hibernate like a bear, thus compounding the issue. People with SAD definitely feel more tired, grumpy, and emotionally attached to their couch during these colder months. Thankfully, sunlight, exercise, grounding, and boosting those vitamin D stores during sunnier months can definitely help bring humans back from their seasonal sad potato phase and restore some much needed serotonin to society. There's also vitamin D winter, which is a real phenomenon that the majority of people in northern climates have no idea about. If you live roughly above 37 degrees latitude, which covers most of the United States, UVB light disappears from the sky between October and March. The sun is simply too low at an angle for UVB to reach you in any meaningful amount. This means the wavelength your skin needs to synthesize vitamin D is simply not available. So if your energy crashes every winter and you can never figure out why, this is a big part of it. Your body is running through whatever vitamin D you stored from summer. If you didn't store much, there isn't much to draw from. This is exactly why summer is not the time to be cautious about sun exposure. Summer is the time to load up. The smart, safe way to do that is through what's called building a solar callus, which means getting your skin used to sun exposure gradually and consistently. You start in the early spring when the UV arrives in greater amounts. You get outside a little every day. Morning is a great time to build your tan. You let melanin build naturally, and by the time the sun is at its strongest in midsummer, your skin is adapted and is doing its job. A tan built this way is not a health risk. It's your skin's built-in protection system working exactly the way nature intended to prepare for summer. There's an easy way to know whether you're getting enough UVB at your location any given time of the year. Check your shadow. If your shadow is shorter than you or roughly equal to your height, the sun is high enough in the sky for UVB to reach you and for your body to make vitamin D. If your shadow is longer than you are, the angle is too low and you're not getting the wavelength you need. It's free, it takes 2 seconds, and it tells you exactly what you need to know. One last thing that's worth saying plainly. Getting morning light in your naked eyes without sunglasses, without window glass in the way, is one of the most impactful daily habits you can build. Your eyes are the primary input for your brain's master clock. The signals they receive from natural light in the morning are what set your hormonal rhythm for the entire day. When you cut that off with lenses or glass or by staying inside, everything downstream gets thrown off and it compounds day after day. The sun is not your enemy. We've just spent the last few decades completely dismantling our relationship with it, and the research keeps pointing to the same conclusion. The further we move away from natural light, the sicker we get. Getting outside consistently, with your eyes and skin actually exposed, is one of the most evidence-supported things you can do for your health. It always has been. Get your light right.